So let me tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm giving all my love to you. I'm giving all my love to you.
Welcome to this episode of Saving Us. We are your hosts, Deetra and
Michael.
And we are so glad that you decided to tune in today for our show. We are a relationship show. We talk about relationships, marriage relationships, romantic relationships, significant other relationships. And today we are talking about finances.
Yep.
There's no romance without finance.
That's not true.
You got to have a J-O-B if you want to be with me. I am dating myself, but that is quite all right. I believe that is still very true.
That's not.
Yeah, it is. Not unless you below 18. Then you cannot have a job and still have a significant other.
Yeah. Okay. It all depends on the how you mean that.
What do you mean?
Like, if you're saying you can't have a romantic relationship if you're not wealthy.
No, I said you got to have a J-O-B, job.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah,
a job.
True. Okay.
Because there is no excuse for not having a job if you're over 18.
That is true.
No excuse.
But we're talking about dealing with financial stress because it's going to happen. Well, I don't want to make a negative confession. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but very often.
It doesn't have to happen.
Yeah, it doesn't have to happen. That's
have
true.
to.
That is true. But just very often, there could be some stresses.
Happen.
Yes. Okay.
The first segment of every show is something new. And we talk about something that we have done or plan to do that is new for us. And sir, what have you done or what are you planning to do that is new?
Well, I have not done it yet. I have not started it, but I'm starting a new book called Your Money Counts. So apropos for our subject today. But it's just a book on, finances and being a good steward by Howard Dayton.
Howard Dayton. That name rings a bell. I think he is on, I used to listen to Moody Broadcasting all the time when we lived here before. And he used to come on with another guy and they had a money show. People would call in and ask questions about finances and they gave financial advice. Howard Dayton.
Oh, really? Okay. That must be the guy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I believe it is.
Yeah. Okay. So
He's been around forever. Long time.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah.
Because the book is rather old, I think. So, Your Money Counts. Your Money Counts by Howard Dayton.
And why are you reading it?
Well, because I think that we just, are transitioning still, I think, into a new season in our life of empty nesters. But the empty nester transition is going a lot slower than I had anticipated. But
revolving door. We're in the revolving door season.
Yeah, we're in the revolving
normal.
door. Yeah, that's true.
It's normal.
But yeah, I just wanted a new, fresh perspective on now moving into this season as it relates to our finances. So we can, do things.
That would be nice.
Yeah. So.
All right.
What about you?
Well, I plan to plant some flowers in the front of our house because it looks rather sad.
It does?
It does.
In what way?
It looks sad. It looks bare. There's no color, I should just say. There's no color in the front of the house.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
So it looks kind of sad. The only thing is, I'll be disappointed. I'll have to figure out which flowers to get because we don't get a lot of sun. We get sun only in the evening. So I have to ask the florist or, the person that's at Lowe's or Menards what flowers to get.
Yeah, that's right. The front of our house faces the west. So, yeah.
Yeah, so we do. We get the evening
yeah.
sun.
Okay. All right, well, that's good.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. What kind of flowers you plant? You don't know?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not a flower connoisseur.
Oh, you don't have a green thumb?
Maybe some impatiens.
We'll see about this thumb.
I think I'm going to get mums for the fall. So in September I'll get some mums.
Okay.
To put out there.
Sounds good. I think the mums.
That'll be good. It'll look good. Mums are nice fall flowers. They come in their fall colors. A lot of them are orange and reddish color. They look nice in the fall.
Okay. Hey, listen, I trust you,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to color. So there you go.
Yeah, so that's our something new.
Okay. So our topic, dealing with financial stress, right? How to handle these financial pressures. So we're going to tackle this topic. A lot of couples, I don't even want to say a lot. I would probably say many, if not most, long-term relationships anyway, will face this, right? So we're talking about how to handle those pressures. So
Do you feel like we've had a lot of financial pressure?
I feel like we've had some, but you know what I found is some of it, and this might be for a little bit later in this discussion. Some of the stress and anxiety and fear comes from perspective,
Okay.
because a lot of times I won't say that. It may not be with everybody. With me, finances has always been like my stress point.
Oh, okay.
Especially like as a Christian, you talk about different things you go through, like when you're sick and healing and medicine and all that, and or if you have some sort of yoke of bondage. I know that's, like you said, Christianese, but
Like,
if you have
what the world does that mean?
You have some kind of
Yoke of
stronghold,
bondage.
some kind of habit.
Somebody bonded my arms.
Bad habit. Well, that's what it is. If you have a bad habit,
Yes,
and
there
that
you
you
go.
can't get rid of.
Yeah. A
You know,
habit you can't break.
a habit you can't break, and if you're a Christian, it's like, well, let's pray about it. And so I don't have any, my point to that whole thing is, usually if it's something to do with my physical body, I'm not saying I've been sick, and all those kind of things, but it's never worried me.
Right.
I've never been worried. I always knew, I could pray, or is what I'm eating or not exercising, or, it's just never been a worry. But finances has always been like this. Oh, what happens if we don't have enough money?
Right.
So I think it depends on your perspective.
And why do you think you have had that perspective with money? Like, why has that been a trigger for you?
That's easy because early on we grew up poor, like so many people. I was a poor black child growing
I
up.
was born. You remember that movie?
Yeah.
A poor black child.
Yeah, and he was not. But anyway, yes. But yeah, the first probably 10 years of my life, we were, very poor, lived in the ghetto of our city. I mean, it wasn't, like Harlem in New York, I know, or South Central LA, but it's all, relative.
Right.
So, we had nothing. I mean, I used to have to get shoes from this charity called Charity Newsies. That's what it was called. So we had to get shoes like, once a year. Me and my brothers, and hand-me-down clothes, the whole thing. I mean, it's not a story people are not familiar with, but because of that, I was like, okay, that thing about, I'm not going to be poor. I'm not going to be in that situation. So I've always, had that anxiety about going back to that, even though I know I won't. I mean, I've had a good job, most of my life since the Army, and so anyway, I don't know. I think just going back to that, that childhood trauma of eating Spam.
Listen, I like Spam.
Yeah, I did
I
then.
used to like. I mean, I haven't eaten it in years and years and years, but sure, it tasted good when I was eating it.
Yeah.
I didn't associate that with being poor, but I guess it was. I don't know.
Yeah. Understood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think we've had financial issues, financial stress, pressure?
Yes. Short answer: yes.
Yeah, most people are gonna deal with it.
Yes.
What do you think? So early on, when we first got married, I remember you prayed and got a revelation
Yes.
about giving, and we had no money. So I don't know if this is all right to say or not, but I'll just be transparent.
Go ahead.
When we first got married, you decided to. We decided, but you suggested, and I was like, that would be wonderful. We were going to have children, so instead of both of us working, you know, you would be,
I came home.
you came home. And, well, both of us working outside of the home.
Right.
You decided to work inside the home
Right.
and do the harder job. And I worked outside of the home. But we were doing that. I was making $27,000 a year, which even at that time was no money.
Correct.
And so
That was gross. 27,000 was
yeah,
gross.
That was gross. It was gross and it was gross. So yes, that was not net. And you prayed and got a revelation that we should give to a ministry
Yeah.
$2,000 over a year's period. Now you have to realize $2,000 to some of y'all is not, you know, now it's like it's $2,000. It's a lot of money, but it's not overwhelming.
Right.
To us at that time, that was like everything. I was
Yeah.
like, what?
Yeah.
So, you know, I prayed about it and felt like that's what the Lord was saying. So we did, over 1 year, we gave monthly $2,000 to a local ministry. And I can honestly say that in that time, well, our whole marriage, but especially in that time, we never lacked for anything. Also, we invited people over for dinner.
Yeah, that was part of our giving.
That was part of our giving as well, you know, like Sunday afternoon, you know, for whatever we had to offer. we'd invite people over and give that way. And we found that we were always provided for.
Yeah.
Now, we didn't get rich or wealthy
Correct.
from that, but we were never in need or want during that time. Is that your experience?
The Lord supplied all of our needs
Yeah.
during that time.
Yeah.
And there was promotion, financial promotion.
Yes.
Came
That is
after
true.
that.
Yeah. Yep. I got a job that I was not searching for, and it doubled my salary. So just like that, you know, not just like that when we
Yeah, it
started
wasn't-
giving,
yeah,
but
but
I'm
it
talking
was-
about it was a sudden thing when it happened.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like we were going, and then all of a sudden, like one day, it was like,
You were
wow.
tapped to for
Yeah.
a different position.
Right.
So yeah, so things do work. I'm a staunch believer in whatever you give in the correct with the correct intention would be given back to you. So that's just a spiritual law that works. If you're Christian, whatever your belief system, that's a spiritual law that works.
Right. Yeah. So don't be discouraged.
Yeah. Don't be discouraged. Decide to have an open hand, because an open hand gives and receives. So, but if your hand is always closed, or if you're always worried or uptight or selfish, then you don't have room to receive anything, and you don't have the ability to give with a cheerful heart.
Right. Yeah.
So.
That is true. And it could just be for a season, like it.
Oh,
you know.
sure. Yeah, I think maybe not all people, because I've never been a wealthy person, but you know, most people go through periods where they feel like they don't have enough financially for whatever reason. Many people do. So it's not something that's unusual. You just have to go through it. It's like appreciating sunshine because you've had a lot of rain. You know,
Right.
you appreciate when you can purchase things you want, or even if you have to plan, at least you have a vision that you can do it, you know, because sometimes you're in a place and you just you don't even see how you can do some things you want to do.
Right.
But if you can at least see it and you can plan to do it, you appreciate it, you know,
Right.
because maybe you've come from a place where you couldn't even see it. So
Right.
it's good.
Yeah. What do you think helps couples through those times? I mean, I know what you're saying to be able to see it, but what physically or tangibly can you do?
Oh,
Like,
okay, so I think coming from a Christian perspective, a lot of times we want magic, really. You want to use God as a concierge and say, you know, I need, give. I need, tell me where to
Right.
go, you know, do this, do that. But God, as human beings, he has put in us the responsibility and the power to create wealth. That's the word of God. I've given you the power to get wealth.
giving you the power. That's good.
So we know that we have that power. So we have to be responsible with our money. You have to work You must work. You must work.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you have to work hard. And many times you have to work at something that you're not passionate about. So a lot of times our passions don't bring in income. Or they don't bring in enough income for us to live off of. And if you're responsible for other people, you should not be selfish and say, "Oh, what about me? What about me?" Because you've taken on the responsibility of taking care of other people. So you may have to do some things to work that you don't particularly enjoy or you're not particularly passionate about. And there is nothing wrong with that.
Right.
So
Because again, it could just be for a season.
it could just be for a season. And
So-
if you can create your passion, you can help allow it, cultivate it so that it helps you make more money as you have time. It just depends on how much work you want to do. And if you ask God what you are supposed to be doing at that time, because maybe your passion isn't meant to supply your needs. That could be. Maybe you have a passion for whatever,
That's good.
but it's supposed to be an enjoyable hobby, and maybe it brings joy to other people. Maybe you can paint,
Right.
and you can make portraits. I mean, maybe that's nice to do on the side, depending on how good you are, whatever. I don't know. I'm
People
just
can make
thinking of
money off of
something.
that,
Yeah,
yeah.
people can't make money off of it. But I think it would be very, very difficult to make a living off of it especially if you have to take care of other people.
Well, yeah.
And that would be really hard.
There's not. Yeah. It's
It's not impossible.
No, but it's like, entertainment, acting, sports.
Right.
You see all the people. You think there's a ton of people playing sports or acting, but really, when you look at all of the people who've tried to do that, that's very few
Very few.
who actually are successful in the way of.
Financially
yeah.
successful. Yeah.
So that's
And if there are young people watching, when I say young people, I say 20 to 35. And one of you wants to I want to be a producer. I want to be a rapper. I want to be a singer.
actor.
You have to work.
Yeah.
Okay? And you're with somebody who allows you to have a studio in your house, in your room, in your basement, at your friend's house, in the garage, at your parents' house, whatever it is. That's a hobby. If it's not bringing in income, it's a hobby.
Right.
You need to work and make some money.
Well.
You need to work. And one day, hopefully, your ship will come in and you will hit big and go viral. Do all of the things. Because if you win, of course, your whole family wins. Whoever you're connected to wins. And we want that for you.
Yes.
We want that for
Yeah.
you. You want that for you. Whoever you're with wants that for you. But in the meantime, get a job full time
Have a
and
job.
work. And work. Yes.
Yeah, well, that's good. Yeah. Now, for couples, though, I think also when you go through those, kind of circling back to when you go through a season like that, like, we went through, one of the things we did was obviously prayed about it. And then, God gave us something to do, which was the opposite of what you would think. Well, naturally you would think, okay, we need to figure out a way to make more money and save it. But he had us give. But I think open and honest communication too about your finances, about what you're doing. Like, people have different things. I mean, this is not a finance podcast. We're talking about relationships and how to get through, tough times financially. But I think that, a lot of people, when you talk about finances, they do things differently. So some couples have different bank accounts, and you pay the electric bill and the whatever bill, and I pay this bill and that bill, and other couples have, we have one account. We've always, kind of had that, but however you want to do it, I think you just have to be open and honest and communicate.
Yeah.
You have to communicate.
You have to.
Is the point.
True. We have a joint account, and then I work, so I have my own accounts too,
Yeah.
and you have your own accounts as well.
Yeah,
I don't know.
one.
You have one. I said accounts. But,
Yeah. One savings.
so, however you want to do it, what works for you. What works for you.
Right. Yeah. That's
What works for you works for you.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people may have one account, but trust, something happens where trust is broken
Right.
financially. So one person feels like, I have to make sure I have something
Yeah.
because that other person has shown to be untrustworthy
Yeah.
in that area. So
Well, I think that's part of the issue. And that's why I say that takes a long time to learn. It seems like to go through. But if you can begin to learn that early on about just communicating, and then I think that you'll find that the secrets you keep your spouse, really, if you're open and honest about it, more than likely will support you.
they'll work with you.
They'll work with you,
Yeah.
unless you just want to, do something stupid and crazy, like buy a $80,000 car and you make $60,000 a year. I mean, that's, but they'll work with you, on your dream. Like you're talking about your dream, if you want to be a producer or whatever, and you're married, a lot of times they'll work with you, but you get a job and then work toward it, and they'll help to sacrifice. They may even say, all right, well, if that person's working, they may even kick in something toward it because they see how hard you're working. They see that you're working your job, paying the bills, and on the side, you're working real hard, hustling, doing this thing. It's just, I think, support each other, and find a way. People are going to argue. It's going to happen.
Of course.
That happens. but work through that. Don't just leave. When you start arguing, work through it. Find, leave it. Don't leave, but then also don't just leave the situation, and find a way to work through it. Find some common ground.
Yeah.
And there's gonna have to be sacrifice on both sides. There's things you wanted to do, and there's things she or he wanted to do, and the way you see it, and you're gonna have to sacrifice. But I think the more you sacrifice, the more the other person will support you. Kind of that,
The more you sacrifice, the more the other person will support you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my point is, I think that if you see me willing to sacrifice, I can't name a specific time or thing, but I know this to be true in our marriage. There's things that I maybe have wanted to do, even with music, but I feel like you have seen me be willing to sacrifice and work, so I had to work a night job, and it had to travel an hour or whatever, but it was more money and all of that. And so I think that with that, you were then willing to support me on sometimes when I wanted to, do some music, or at least when I say support, you ask like, well, what are you doing with your music? You got all this music, go ahead and do something, going back to school. I remember I was always complaining about not finishing college. I started at Ohio State, went to the Army, never finished, and then had some good jobs. So it's not like I really had to go to college,
right,
to be honest with you, because I had a good job at the time, but it was something that was unfinished in my life. And but I was working, we were paying bills and doing all the things, we were raising kids, and then you said, just go back to college and stop complaining, find a way to do it. So, that's what I'm saying. If you're willing to sacrifice, you get the support. And the very thing you sacrifice, you may be able to end up doing. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, it's,
maybe.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Maybe.
Who knows? But anyway.
Okay. Have you ever heard of this? This is a little bit off the subject, but in a couple situations, sometimes you'll have somebody who's the dreamer and then somebody who's the anchor.
Yeah.
So if you have a kite, somebody dreams, somebody's the string.
Oh, okay.
Somebody keeps you grounded.
Yeah.
How would you say which are we? Do you think?
Oh, I think. Well, I think we've switched. It depends, but I think for the most part, I'm probably the dreamer, and you're
I'm the
anchor. You're the string holder. Like, what you gonna do now? Yeah, because I can say that because of this last Christmas when we went to Hawaii. If that was not my idea.
Right.
But that was your idea.
Right.
But if it was my idea, or even when you first said it, the first thought that came to my mind was, how are we going to do that? We can't go to Hawaii. We don't have the money because I'm ready to go.
Right.
You know, see what I'm saying? That's just
Right.
in my mind. Like, well, if you say let's go to Hawaii, well, let's go. What time
Yes.
like, what time is it now?
Okay.
You know, and so
Okay.
that's you know, I and you were like, now hold on. What I'm saying is, not now, in 3 years.
Yeah. Let's
So
put
that's the
somebody
anchor.
away to do.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
That's what you know.
Yeah. Not like I don't have goals and stuff, but
Oh, yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
like a person like I wouldn't say, oh, like now it's July, right? The last day of July, and we're gonna go. You know, let's go to Dominican Republic for Christmas. Okay. Let's put it on credit card. Come on, you know, let's
Right.
just do it. Pay
You
it out
said
when we
you
get
would
back.
do it?
No, I wouldn't.
Oh,
I mean, that would
okay.
be the difference, you know, between me and you.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're like, yeah, come on, let's do it.
Yeah. That's exactly. That's exactly what I would do. Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So there you go. Well, finally, I think on that subject is then circle all the way back around to you have to well, for us, because we're Christians, you know, we have to trust God.
Oh yeah.
I think that goes back to the first thing we started with about praying and giving. That was a big time step of faith
Yeah.
for us, you know, and so you have to do all the things like you said. You have to be a good steward.
You have to be a good steward.
If you're not a good
and
steward, can't expect
decide
miracles.
which one of you you communicate. You know, talk to each other. Have financial goals.
Yeah,
Just like in anything else, you'll never know if you got there until you write it down and you have something specific
right,
to reach for, or else money will never be enough.
right.
It will never be enough because there's always something else to buy.
Always.
And most of us do not live below our means. We should, but
Oh,
most
yeah.
people don't.
No,
So you're going to always be in the same place. If you make more money, you usually will do something that causes another bill
Right.
or a higher bill.
Right.
So,
You're
but
gonna
you
spend
you
it.
have to be very conscious about not doing that, so that when more income comes in, it feels like you have more income, and you can decide together what to do. But if you are the person, like usually in relationships, one person handles finances better than the other person. If you're a person who does not handle finances as well as your spouse or your partner, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, male or female. There's nothing wrong with that. Some people just not good with money. Some people not good business people, and they move out of their emotions more than out of their logic.
right.
And God made us all. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Turn to your partner
Yeah.
and say, "Help me."
Yeah, work together. Yeah.
Yeah, and just work together. And if neither one of you are good at it, find some support. An older couple, some kind
Yeah,
of financial
that's such
counselor.
wisdom.
Find some support because you do not have to struggle all the time. Life does not have to be a financial struggle. I was just listening to something recently and it said that wherever you're born, financially is usually where you stay.
Oh, really?
Usually. So if you're born in poverty, you usually stay in poverty.
Wow.
If
That
you're
is
born whatever
interesting.
economic level you're born is usually where you'll stay. So you have to make a conscious effort
Right. Yeah.
to go higher.
Be purposeful.
You have to,
Yeah.
or else you're by nature you'll just stay in the same cycle.
Right. Got it. All right. That sounds good. So those are our tips, or what our journey. All right. What about your accountability?
So accountability, working on my paper. I was just thinking of this. I submitted it to an editor on Monday.
You did?
So I'm supposed to get it back by tomorrow.
Oh, Lord.
But I need to go check and make sure that they could open it. I just thought about that this morning.
Okay.
I mean, because I submitted it and chatted with the person, for a little bit on Monday, but I didn't want to just, just think about it. So I was like, I'll just check Thursday. But then I thought, wonder if they couldn't open it. And I don't know.
All right.
But yeah.
So you're at the point where you submitted it to an editor, and now when you get it back, you got to fix up whatever and then give it to.
Then I'll submit it to my teachers.
Right. Okay. So close. So close.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm believing.
Yep. That's
This
good.
will be
Yeah.
the last time. I hope. I hope.
This is it. This is it.
I
Yes.
hope so.
You can do it. You can do it.
And if it's not it, that's all right. Just keep working.
Yeah. All right. Well, my accountability, I feel like I'm into a good pattern now. of eating and exercising regularly. Because I've just been up and down, up and down. You know, I eat good, eat some vegetables and, you know, chicken, and then do that for a few days, and then something would happen. And we have some outing or, you know, whatever. And so there's pizza and, you know. But anyway, I'm in a good pattern, so we'll see. So that's moving along. That's all I got to say.
Good for you.
Yes.
Good for you.
All right, and lastly, positive note. I'll go first.
Okay.
Then you can do your positive note. and
Okay.
end it. So my positive note goes along with everything we've been talking about, not finances, but unity. My positive note is for a couple. We underestimate the strength in unity.
True.
I think we know it. We know we're better together. We have all the sayings, the cliches, but we underestimate it in reality of how strong you are together, right? Can two walk together unless they be agreed, right? Where 2 or 3 are gathered, the whole thing, you know. And so just my positive note is just always have that in the back of your mind, especially when you don't agree. Find a way, find the common ground. Because if you leave it at you don't agree, then it's going to be exponentially more difficult to advance in your relationship and whatever you're trying to do. So strength and unity. Remember that.
Strength and unity.
Yeah.
But what if it's something you just don't agree with?
You have to find a way. I'm saying the things that you argue about, find the common ground. Find a way to find what you do agree about. Because there's going to be something there. And then ultimately you're going to have to sacrifice. Somebody's got to play tambourine. That's ultimately where it is.
But what if you get tired of playing a tambourine? What if your
well,
arms get tired? You're supposed to put it down?
That's your...
Join a different band.
No, do not join a different band.
Start your own band. No, I'm playing.
Just know there's strength in unity.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. Okay.
All right, what's your positive note?
Think enough about yourself to take care of yourself. Love yourself enough to take care of you. And that just depends on what that means for you. If it means whatever it means for you, take the time to care for yourself.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Yeah. Well, thank you for tuning in to Saving Us in this episode. Remember to like and subscribe and share it with a friend. Should they give suggestions? Do you check emails?
Yeah. Well, they can put it in the comments.
Put in the comments. Put in the comments what you would like to talk about. Because he checks that stuff. And give us some suggestions. We want to hear from you. All right? Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.